Content warning. The following show contains smoking, potty mouth language, discussions of fictitious violence, copious amounts of coffee drinking, a lot of old men yelling at clouds, and a few things that might hit people in the feels. But we want you guys to know that we're not attacking anybody. If anything, we want to make sure that everyone has the best experience with all of their experiences as possible. But with all that being said, viewer discretion is advised. Darn, aren't you all liberal and stuff like that? I'm like, dude, just knock it off, all right? Let's just start up the music and get this show on the road, okay? Okay. Hey everybody, what is going on? Oh my god. How's it going? What's the word? What's going on right now? I am Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, coming at you from the Wizard's Tower. And welcome. I want to welcome you all to the dark side of the room. This is the show where we talk about lots and lots and lots of different stuff like escapism and games and life. Do you know anything about life, Lisa? You're tearing me apart, Lisa. No, what is the Zenithades? To stop the presses, we have a new topic for today's show. Are you being sarcastic or are you trying to hijack the show? I'm just looking to know right now and all of that jazz. But before we get started, guys, I want to say hello to all of the people that are out there today, the ones on the YouTubes, the ones here in good old Twitch land and all that jazz. And if you want to get a hold of me, to say like, hey, what's going on? How you doing? How you feeling? Blah, 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 blah. What's up? Aren't we friends? Well, you only got to do one thing. You got to open up your keyboard and type in backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. You can also reach out to me on Twitter and Instagram, also at backinthedeck, or you can reach out on TikTok, TikTok, that whole clock app. And of course, look me up there under BidP. What? That's right. That's BIDPY, and you can see all the other stuff. Zenithades is nice enough to put up, the Discord link. What? It's like we have a Discord and we can talk to each other about stuff? Yeah, that's right. And if you are still on that wretched hive of scum and villainy known as Facebook, then you can pop on over to Deckers on the Book. That is our open community on Facebook. If you're like me and you're like over 40 and you still use those old apps and stuff like that, then that can be the thing for you. Now, while we're here and while we're doing this thing and my microphone is going all over the place, I want you guys to know if you guys saw the announcement of everything that was coming out over coming out on social media, be it all the social medias that we send everything out. If you couldn't hear my voice, it's because I'm blaming Bill Gates. That's what I'm going to do. I'm blaming Bill Gates. That's my story. Windows did this upgrade and it tore my entire infrastructure apart. I was so mad because it happened right before I logged into my virtual therapy session. So isn't that fun? Love doing the show directly after Therapy Brain. And if you guys are also interested in supporting the channel, if what we do here, if the stuff we do here gives you value, gives you feels, and you want to help support it, well, head to any of these links right here. That's right, these links right there. That's our donation page for a one-time donation. If you are rolling harder than that, then join the Patreon. Yeah, the Patreon is some stuff, and I'm trying to learn how to be more interactive with the Patreon, with all the things that people on Patreon do. I'm only part of 2 Patreons right now, and yeah, there's all that. And of course, our merchandise store. Check it out, guys. Yeah, we've got merchandise for you. We've got coffee cups and t-shirts and hoodies and baseball t-shirts, even stuff for the kids. If you guys got like a little decker that's in the crib and all that stuff, what? That's right. We got little baby bodysuits. Look at, oh my God. Yeah, that's right. So if you guys got little ones and you don't like what I have to say, put your little kid in this one and hope for a diaper leak. So that is the stuff that we've got going right now as all of this stuff is going. What is going on, Daryl? What is going on, Ultimate Book Maniacs? Hey, how's it going? Oh my God, coming at me from a time zone that is what, 12 and a half hours ahead, which means the fact that you're awake means you've been drinking way too much coffee. And speaking of coffee, it looks like mine is done. So isn't that fun? But yeah, so thank you guys for showing up on the YouTubes. Don't forget to push like and subscribe. And by the way, guys, Ultimate Book Maniac and myself will be doing some collaboration stuff, specifically on Game of Thrones, and possibly in the distant future, but before Star Trek actually happens, maybe other books that we like reading, because I'm a prolific reader, but I'm nothing like the Ultimate Book Maniac. And go check out their YouTube channel just at Ultimate Book Maniac. So that's what we've got going on all that. Now let us turn down the volume, because I only got one more announcement. Okay, one more announcement today, which means I got to throw this out there. Okay, tonight. Wednesday, hump day. If you guys are in the Southern California area, all right, specifically the LA area, the big little town, and you're in the beautiful San Fernando Valley tonight around, 8 o'clock, then you guys should come down to the Rogue-like Tavern, because tonight is Roguelike Rumbles. What is that? Roguelike Rumbles. That's right, down here at the tavern. Roguelike Rumbles. It is so fun. It is essentially, think Critical Role meets WWF. Roguelike Rumbles is essentially a 4 to 5 person PvP D&D game where people totally put on their costumes and cosplay, and they're like, yeah, we're just gonna go through a combat and all that stuff. And of course, yours truly, myself, the cinematic sorcerer, is dusting off his time wizard to go in and get my butt kicked by a bunch of people who are playing D&D, and maybe also get into any of that. So do we use our books as decorations? Well, I don't. I tend to read my books, but you're probably asking that question for a reason, Gaming Fix Live. By the way, if you guys haven't subscribed to Gaming Fix Live, y'all should probably do that, all right? Because this dude has been, like, doing games as long, if not longer than me, and he actually covers some video games in the way that we here at Back in the Deck don't. So now that we've got all that, my God, I had a little bit of a time today because my initial notes are on just one piece of paper, and the fan went whoosh, and they literally ended up on the other side of the studio today. And I'm like, where's my thing? Where's my thing? I am the master of disorganized everything today. This is just, it is such a thing, just such a thing going on today. But I want to get into today's topic. I was hoping to have a co-host today, but life happens, and that doesn't always work out the way that we hope that life works out, and that's just how it goes. Okay. But yeah, with all that, what I will say, guys, is there's something I love talking about all the time. All right, and that is our hobbies. I'm talking our role play, our miniature painting, our terrain building, our train sets. And I really, really, really love making communities grow. Speaking of growing community, hello, VL Mercy, welcome. Okay, just in case you're lurking back there, I want you to know I see you and you're welcome. So thanks for being here. Love making communities grow. And when it comes to growing a community, all right, number one, I've been growing communities for different games and different hobbies since the early 2000s. Okay, I have been at building communities for fun stuff for over 20 years. All right. Because when I was a kid, I didn't have any friends that were into the stuff that I liked, because they didn't have access to it. So I had to teach them things like D&D or origami or anime, stuff like that, you know? It was a different world back then, world before the internet. And now I'm dealing with the double-bladed sword of the internet. I will explain. That's too long. I sum up. The internet is a fantastic tool for learning about stuff you never learned about before. I love it for that. All right, I really do. But it's also a weapon that's used against a lot of people for a lot of reasons. Well, what do you mean by that, Solar? Oh, well, it's very simple. The worst place you can go to find out about anything that you are not an expert at is an internet forum. Oh my God. You go on an internet forum, and sure enough, you ask a simple question. Hi, I'm new. I would like to know this particular thing because I'm having a problem understanding it the way the rule book is written. And I don't care if you're on 4chan, Reddit, any number of other forums, including forums for the specific product or specific game that you're looking at. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Don't care where you ask that question. You are inevitably hit with "Get good, noob. Oh my God, you're stupid. We answered this question like 8 months ago." So it's on you to not follow a link that we'll give you, but to read 80,000 pages of forum stuff. And then you end up getting answers to questions you didn't ask. And all of them come with insults and other stuff. It is so annoying. Okay. And the other thing you'll get when you look up stuff on the internet, inevitably, is 98% of the people that are upset with anything making their opinions known. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, seriously speaking, all right, people that are upset at everything. Warhammer 40K just released 10th edition. The game is 2 months old, and there is so much vitriol about every single part of the game. And then they just did the data sheet release to try and fix some of those problems, and there is literally the same amount of complaints about the fixes as there were with the breaks. And it just makes me start to wonder, what do people want? Okay, what is it that they want? And I used to naively think that people played games, read comic books, read books, got involved in escapism to have fun. That is what I thought. Okay, I used to think, wow, these are things that people can do to spend time together and enjoy things. All right. However, deep down, where the special place is, forever, I still think that's the case. I really do. I really think that that is the case. However, there's a few things about fun today that don't tend to add up. Okay, a few things that don't tend to add up. And this is what I wanted to talk about. Um, we live in a weird age of individualized definitions. It's kind of odd. Now, I'm going to sound like an old man yelling at cloud, but just bear with me. Just bear with me for a hot moment. By the way, is my mic too hot? Just let me know if I'm being really, really loud. I don't think I am, but between what my software records and what you guys hear, there's different thing. And I was able to hear myself on someone else's thing the other day, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's so loud. Um so yeah, okay, thanks, Zan. Thank you very much. So one of the things that I have noticed, oh, thanks, Neon, you sound great today. Cool. So one of the things that I have come to notice, okay, and this is real, this is a real thing, all right, is when I ask people about fun, I get a whole lot of deer in the headlights things. Okay, I get so many people hit me up with and then they give a stock standard answer because they feel put on the spot. Okay, and this leads me to a lot of living in my head. All right, so one of the things that I always put out there is, what is it that people find fun in? Okay, and what does that mean? Well, I know a lot of people who find fun in winning games. Now, we've talked about the Timmy, the Johnny, and the Spike, but I'm not talking about those guys. Okay, I'm not talking about how you win. All right, I'm asking, like, I tend to ask, okay, so what's fun? What is this fun thing, this feeling that is fun? And when I say that we live in an age of individualized definitions, that's exactly what I mean. People have fun for different reasons and do different stuff. And with the differences, there comes a gap. And that gap is the recognition of individuality. Okay? What is fun for me may not be fun for you. Now, I know you guys are like, duh, but really think about it for a minute. How many people do each of you know that look at their own perspective as the way the rest of the world does? i.e., it's fun for me, therefore this is what fun is. Why aren't you having it? Okay? And I'm dead serious. Everybody falls into the thought that though I am an individual, I am normal. Therefore, what applies to me applies to everyone. However, since we live in a world of individual differentiations and definitions, those two things are incompatible, guys. They don't work. It's not how it is. They don't work. They don't add up that way. All right? So, what is really important is understanding the criteria for your own fun. And see, this is a really important thing. All right? My TikTok was talking to me a lot about a week ago. And they were talking about going to the club. Why don't we go to the club? Why don't the club so fun? Club, club, club. And booth culture, section culture, all that stuff. That is something that people have been talking about, not having fun at the club. Why can't I go to the club? Club, yeah, in the club, you know. I've never been no, I haven't been a club person since the 90s, and heavy metal clubs were a thing. So going into a club, seeing a live band, hitting a mosh pit, those were my days. And then I got over 30. I got a manual labor job, and I was always tired and sore. So the idea of hitting a pit, not really my bag. But I always went to mingle with other people, and the heavy metal community is about mingling and meeting other people and all that jazz. But one major thing that people were talking about was there was a time where you would go to the club with the mission to have fun. And people were complaining, and I see this all over the place. People were complaining about, well, when I go to the club, nobody's on the dance floor. And a lot of people are afraid that somebody is going to be taking video of them and then making fun of them on social media and all that jazz. And it got me thinking, what stands in the way of people having fun? Now, as you guys know, I live in the hood. And fun in the hood has always been a very quiet and guarded thing, in the sense of, if you are wacky and whimsical and silly, you got to tone that down, man. 'Cause you being goofy. You just need to chill, bruh. Just chill. And that's lessened a lot, especially since geeks have come to the forefront. But y'all know what I'm talking about. All of y'all know what I'm talking about when it comes to just having fun. And a lot of people be like, I just do what I want. I have, I'm like, yeah, everybody says it, but I watch people. I really do watch people. I see the people that want to go to the park and run around with their hands behind their back like they're Naruto. Um, I see people look at me when I pull out a puppet, and half of them are like, okay, that's kind of fun. Let me interact with that. But then they take a look at the people around them and they're like, no, I'm good. I'm good. You know? And there is a major sense of embarrassment. And that embarrassment, it's like a worm. It worms its way into a lot of other places. Again, what do you mean, Tholer? Well, when I say that it's like a worm, okay? Um, I've talked about stuff like this before. Where I come from, we have a lot of athletes. Yeah, I know I'm kind of cute when I take off my glasses. Only kinda. And, I come from a very sports culture oriented place, because I come from the fiscally disenfranchised world. And if you're in the trailer park or in the hood, people love them sports. They love the sports. They love the basketballs and the footballs and the sports balls and all that stuff. There was even a time where I was a really big Laker fan, specifically during the Showtime years with Magic Johnson and Worthy, and my favorite basketball player of all time, AC Green. Um, but when it come to playing games and sports and the athlete's mindset, winning is the only way of having fun. And when I look at a lot of the forums through that filter, I start to ask myself the question, are people complaining because they're not winning? Or are they complaining because of a different thing? Okay, what is their own fun? And that brings me into the thought of game philosophy. Now, we have a saying here at Back on the Deck, especially when we do live events, which is, if your opponent is losing and not having fun, you are playing wrong. You are playing incorrectly if people don't enjoy losing against you. And why is that? Well, I know a lot of people who play games specifically for the win. Okay, most of my friends, have their fun in breaking systems. That's just what they love. They love finding the loopholes and getting the most thing, making infinite turns and all that stuff. And they go, yeah, this is fun. And those are the people that I don't play games against. Not very often. Or when I do play against them, they know how they have fun, and I have fun in the experience of playing and learning. Like, that's where my fun is. And what do I mean by that? Well, I like figuring out a few things. Not abusing it, but realizing what it is, realizing what's there. I'm like, oh wow, I can do this and that. I love to see how rules and combos go together, whether or not I'm gonna use them. Okay. Um, but the number one thing that I do, and this used to get on my ex's nerves all the time because she could not wrap her head around my game philosophy, is that I would root for her to win. I want the people playing against me to create cinematic moments. I want them to try wacky stuff. I encourage people to be whimsical and to do stuff that lets them go, man, I can't believe that. Oh man, I rolled all those sixes. Or, dude, my character then swang across a chandelier and then did a backflip and then picked up a popcorn maker and hit the big vampire in the nose with it. And the vampire yelled, but then a popcorn kernel went up his nose, and then he sneezed and the popcorn kernel like came out of his face like a bullet and shot the dude that was there with him to kill us. It was awesome. I like manifesting and facilitating those moments. I love all of that. But what I do see is a lot of people that don't go into a game to have fun. That might be their conscious, their forefront in their mind, but they don't stick with the thing that's in the front of their heads, okay? Because there's this thing in the back of the head that makes them afraid to look stupid. That thing in the back of their heads that tell them, look, if you don't massacre, if you don't crush this person, they're going to find a way to laugh at you. They're like the mom in Carrie going, no, they're all going to laugh at you. No, don't speak in your character's voice. They're going to laugh at you. No, don't get involved in this game because that's against your culture. And I'm just like, seriously, dude, what would it take for you to have fun? Now, where I live, the number one manifestation of fun is weed. And I hate to say it, just being high and disassociating with the world. Just put up a big wall between self and world and stay behind that wall until you have to come out for work. And that's part of trauma. Yeah, I will answer that question in just a sec, Gaming Fix. I want to finish at least this segment. um, but yeah, what I will say is, that's what a lot of people, I know are used to. It's what they're comfortable with, and that's the thing. I have fun leaving my comfort zone, but I know that leaving one's comfort zone is a big ask. Okay, the reward is huge, but for a lot of people, it's a really big ask. So, my big question tends to be, what is your criteria for having fun? And why isn't it working? You know, and a lot of folks don't really like that question because for some reason there's lots of folks out there that believe that being incorrect is a reflection on who they are. Now, I found out that this is a manifestation of adolescent brain development. Okay. Meaning before, everyone says you don't mature and your brain is still soft until you're about 25. And one of the ways that it is that is the inability to separate one's actions from one's identity. Okay. Now we could get into a whole bunch of things in American culture that arrests our development because our milestones in this country to say, okay, you're an adult now, you're a fully fledged adult, they tend to be financial. They really do. Okay. But even beyond that, okay, we're just going to put that aside because that is a show in and of itself. For last night down by the docks, we talked about it. But but there is this sense of going into something with an idea of what it's supposed to be and not being willing to see it for what it is. Okay? Now, as you guys know, I teach a lot of games, a lot of games. All right. And one of the things I always do now, I have a friend. He is one of my ride or dies, but man, he is a complainer. He's unhappy with every game that he loves, and just so much. Now, granted, psychologically speaking, as human beings, we do tend to talk about, express, communicate what's wrong more than we do communicate what's right, or things that we are unhappy with versus things that we are satiated by, satisfied with, joyful of, even. And, oh yeah, oh yeah, I got good coffee today. Um, so I get that the habit is kind of there, but it does start to make folks wonder, are you happy with anything? Now, as you guys know, I've been learning gruntled. maybe gruntled. I don't know. I tend to find myself whelmed most of the time. So I'm not sure if gruntled is the correct word, but it might be the correct word. Um, so as I was saying, um, when people go into something with a specific idea, what is very important is to stay flexible and to see something for what it is. Now, when I look at games, D&D, or sorry, RPGs, tabletop minis games, board games, card games, dice games, um, the first thing I do is I learn the rules as written. And the reason is because playing the rules as written gives you an idea for what the creator intended when they published the game. Okay, I know a lot of people who go into a game with an idea of what they think it's supposed to be, and they never give authorial intent a consideration. Take what is the name of it? Star Wars Legions, for example. Now, there's a lot of people that love the minis and love little toys and making it move around the table going pew 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 pew. However, in their minds, no one can beat Darth Vader. No one. So if Darth Vader's on the table, I should automatically win. I got Darth Vader. He's the baddest mammer jammer in the galaxy, you know. And sure enough, within game mechanics, that piece has got to be beatable. I've come to see this really deeply in the Warhammer 40K community. Because primarily of the fiction, not the lore, the fiction. Okay? In the novelizations that have come out for the games, the Space Marines are these big, unbeatable things. Brr, 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 brr. They never run away. They can't lose in a fight. Brr. Because so many books are written from the Space Marines' perspective, you know. And then I take a look at some of the Necron stories, and we've got Necrons that are literally playing with the space-time continuum and destroying planets on a whim. So nobody should be able to beat them, right? And every time you look through fiction, nobody can beat the main character. You know, as you guys know, I love superhero themed games, and I get this all the time. Superman can't beat Deadpool. Deadpool's got plot immunity and all this other stuff, but Superman has all the superpowers. And then Spider-Man always survives everything. Yeah, but no, Spider-Man. All that stuff, okay? And on a certain level, those conversations are fun. But what I find is a level of communication that must be had. Okay? And that level is this. And this is something I see all the time. I see what I like to call situation bullies happen a lot. I.e., we're playing a superhero game, and then they don't say, I don't want to play, this isn't fun, or I don't understand this rule. They will start a debate on superheroes, taking away the attention from the game that they aren't fully invested in and turning the situation toward the thing that they are. And real talk, guys, this behavior gets on my absolute last nerve. It really does. Um, because of me having to switch gear. Well, first, me having to figure out what they actually want and then deciding whether or not I'm willing to give that to them, and then going through the mental gymnastics I have to do to switch gears to do that. You know, not a big fan of people who aren't forthright. That's a person out. That's a personal thing. That's a thing with me. Um, but asking oneself that question, what is your criteria for fun and is it not working? That is a really, really, really insightful question to ask. Okay? Because sometimes, just sometimes, your criteria for fun can be something that isn't possible on the table. I know a lot of people that don't read the whole card. Yeah, I'm using Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, and stuff like that um, as a metaphor. Okay, I know a lot of folks that don't read the whole card. What does that mean? They'll read the first line. Um, this is a war game with dice. Done. Um, counter target enemy spell. Done. But they won't read the rest of the paragraph, and they'll set their heart on the thing that they read. And how can I put it? Some folks are embarrassed by losing, but more folks are embarrassed by getting something incorrect. Okay? It's just it's just a fact of living in the 21st century. Okay? I don't know what we did, guys. Honestly, I don't think it was us. I really think it was our parents, starting with my parents and then moving on. Um, because the idea of being incorrect is very often conflated with being wrong. Um, so looking at those particular things is huge. It's really, really, really huge. People want to have fun. However, and this is a big thing, when their standards for fun are really, really high and they're not based on the situation that is in front of them, that can lead to a lot of misnomers. Or not misnomers. That can lead to a lot of feel bad moments. Okay? I know a lot of people, when I teach games, they read a rule incorrectly, but they think that they're correct. It's a very Dunning-Kruger thing. And then they will base their entire strategy around the incorrectly interpreted rule. And then when they find out that the rule doesn't work that way, first, they'll be disappointed in themselves for not being able to read. Then they'll get mad at the game because it was written stupid anyway. And then they will have a bunch of embarrassment because they didn't master a brand new thing upon their first try. Okay? I'm sure every single person that's in the chat right now has seen this happen, either at tournaments, at game nights with the family. It may have even happened to some of you. Real talk, it used to happen to me all the time. All the time. When I was first learning, how to play War Machine, I read the rule book and I didn't understand half of what was there because there's so much game culture jargon that was in the first edition of the book. Like, I couldn't wrap my head around activate a unit. Well, I activate this model. I'm like, does that mean you turn it on? Oh, no. That just means you pick this thing to go next. Okay. Thank you. That's all I needed to know. There's a lot of that. And real talk, the internet don't help with that. We've talked about this before. We have definitely talked about this. Um, where you ask a question because you were genuinely coming from a place of want to know, and you're met with, "What, are you stupid? Oh, why don't you learn to get good? Oh, you're not as good as me. Oh, you haven't been doing this as long as I have because you haven't been alive as long as I have. So instead of looking at you as someone who is curious and wants to learn something I'm passionate about, I'm just going to scare you away from for not already being me." Because I'm an old person with issues. Y'all know. Y'all know. Y'all have seen it. I know. I've seen it. Okay? So I get where a lot of that stuff comes down. However, I want to talk about can versus will. Okay? Because this is a really big piece of the puzzle. But first, as I said, tonight down at the Roguelike Tavern, I will be in Roguelike Rumbles. Again, this is such a fun night, and I'm really not the kind of person that likes to go to bars or anything like that, because I don't drink. But we're literally looking at a bunch of gamer nerds at a bar that's owned by a gamer nerd that always wanted to open one of the taverns that you would find in a D&D campaign. And one of the things that's really fun, and I mean this is the viewers and like the people that are viewing, they can actually help out the players. Okay, they can give a tip, and that tip at a certain monetary level can get their chosen character like a healing potion or something of that manner. Like advantage coins are a really big one. Now, to answer your question, Gaming Fix, yes, you will be able to watch the show tonight. Let me pull up the site over at twitch.tv/pickyourpoisonproductions. All right. And or should I say on YouTube at the Pick Your Poisons. At Pick Your Poison Productions channel. I'm pulling that up right now. For some reason my computer is going really, really slow. Really slow. Let me just pop this up. And yeah, if you guys would share the link and all that stuff, I would really, really appreciate it. Because I was there in December. And it was my first time being in the game. And it was kind of weird. Okay? Yeah, it was kind of weird. Because while I was there, one of the things I saw and noticed, here's their YouTube channel. That's Pick Your Poisons Productions. Look at all that right there, huh? Yeah. So you'll be able to watch it there or on their Twitch channel at 8 p.m. tonight. But when I was there, one of the things I felt was a huge flashback to high school and middle school because of the 4 players that were fighting and the GM, every other person that was there came with like an entourage. Okay, they all had like 6 or 7 friends that were there in the audience rooting for them and buying drinks and giving them healing potions. And I was there with the dude that got me the gig. So so at the beginning of the game, I had to do all of this schmoozing to get to know people and maybe have them root for me, but they were already there rooting for other people, and I felt kind of lonely. I'm not going to lie. But I mean, I had fun. I did all that stuff. I went through my first day in class type of thing because I was kind of like the new kid. However, I was there determined to have fun. And there were some, I know one dude that was there was like, so everybody's got a holiday theme, but you're playing a time wizard. I don't get it. And I'm like, what do you know about Kwanzaa? And he's like, I'm like, just put it in that department. And I kind of walked away because, again, new guy in class and telling the guy to eat the corn from my excrement, not the best way to make friends. Uh, but all in all, I did have fun. I've gone back for a few others to watch in the crowd. And this one, I'm trying to get my people to show up, you know, even though most of my people are broke, and I get it. But yeah, just if they show up tonight and like cheer and all that other stuff, then that would be very cool. If you guys are watching from the YouTube, they have like a coffee and a PayPal, and they'll put that up that you guys can donate to tip to, you know, throw in some potions and all that stuff. So yeah, 8 o'clock tonight, Gaming Fix. Thank you. Now that this commercial is done, let's have another word from our sponsor really quick, and that is tpublic.com/, Back in the Deck Productions, or BidP merch. Yeah, we still got merchandise and all that stuff. I'm just going to put a link right here. No, there is not a cover charge. At least I don't think so. I think it might be like $15. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, so head on there. There we go. All right. So now let's talk about can versus will. Okay. I touched on this a little bit when I talked about wanting to, well, hang on. So, can versus will, or the idea of abusing loopholes. Okay. I know a lot of people, and I see a lot of people in tournament, in forums. They talk a lot. They talk a lot about this mythological thing called balance. Okay, and what do I mean by that? Oh my God, I want the game to be balanced. Essentially, in a perfect game, overall, you win half the time, you lose half the time. Games like 40K, Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons have never been those things. In fact, the closest game that I have ever seen to be balanced are the first three. Okay? Like seriously, the first three games. I'm talking Mancala, Go, and chess. Everything else is greatly skewed to one side. Okay? Yeah, you're cute, Neon. Balance, like fun. Come from within it must. But yeah. Oh, nice. I didn't realize you were setting up a punch. Yeah, we got the balance like fun must come from within because you know it isn't coming from within the game's workshop studios. You're absolutely right. Um, but the thing is, one of the things, and this was a huge thing in a lot of tournament play and a lot of stuff that I went through with my own group, was they were so concerned that people were going to abuse a rule. And I mean, seriously, okay? They were talking about throwing a Deadlands LARP, right? Now, for those of you guys that don't know, because you're not into a lot of role-playing games, Deadlands is a steampunk fantasy cowboy game, and it's really, really good. It's really good. However, instead of rolling dice, most of the time, you draw playing cards. And they decided not to invite a friend of ours to their 3-session LARP because he studied stage magic, therefore can do card tricks. Okay? And I'm like, that's really messed up. So you're saying because he could palm cards and he could, like, he had the ability to cheat, you honestly believe that this dude would? You know, and this is a big thing. Like, when I first started doing terrain, my friends were like, dude, I don't like that I can see the creases on the game board because I know that these are 2 foot things, and if I see the creases, then I know that this is like 6 inches from here, and I know that I can pre-measure in a game I'm not supposed to pre-measure. And I'm like, dude, stop. Just stop. Now, I understand where the fear came from, okay? The first time I ever played Halo in a group setting, okay? Um I didn't realize that my opponents were looking at my screen to see where I was cuz we did the 4 screen split. That's not how my friends and I used to play when we would play GoldenEye on the N64, okay? That's just I never looked at their screen. I thought that would be cheating. And other people never looked at mine, but then I went to a game group that did do that. So my friends not wanting to let in one of my friends to the Deadlands game because they could, like they had the ability to cheat because they knew how to palm cards and do up close stage magic. And I'm like, that's really messed up because I read the X-Men when I was a kid, and I occasionally read them now. And one of humanity's things within the X-Men, allegory aside, is mutants have to be exterminated because any of them could go bad and could be dangerous. Okay? And real talk, yeah, there is capacity, but capacity and intent or willingness are completely different. Now, this is something that really gets in the way of fun. All right? I think about when I was growing up. And the very first thing that people would say when they were losing a game is what? What is it that they were saying? Um, oh man, you cheated. That's the first thing. If we're losing, we accuse people of cheating when we're kids and before we learn sportsmanship. Okay? But the entire idea of having the ability to break rules or take advantage of something is not the same as doing it. Okay? And make no mistake. Part of playing a game, especially a competitive game, i.e., PvP type game, is knowing what the opponent could do. But the second part is watching what they actually do. Okay? I know a lot of people who just don't get when I play a game because I don't automatically or always go for the most efficient way to victory. I am not a whack player. Okay? I don't play mind games. I don't jump through loopholes, and I root for my opponent to pull off what they tried to pull off. And a lot of people, at least out here in Southern California, just don't know what to do with that. And it's like, well, in a lot of games, I could see where I could beat someone. I could see where I could get wiped. However, just because we see a possibility for impropriety in someone else, okay, it is so important not to automatically believe and act upon the belief that the person that is capable of impropriety will, without fail, as day is day, night is night, and time is time, perform that impropriety. Okay? I can tell you, I'm a really big fan of make a mistake and confuse the enemy. I really am. And what do I mean by that? I had people just mad because they saw how I could win in a game and did not believe that I didn't do the thing that would win me the game. And I'm like, well, I didn't realize I could do that. I'm like, you're giving me way too much credit. I don't look at this the same way that you do. I thought that was part of the fun. And they're like, no, you're just trying to make me feel bad. Stop condescending to me. And I'm like, well, no, dude, seriously. You saw that I could do that? How? Like, show me, because I didn't see it. If I saw it, I might have done it just to end the game, because we've been playing for 3.5 hours. My brain is fried. I need a cup of coffee, and I got to go to the bathroom, you know? And it took them aback for just a minute. And they're like, oh, so you're just not that good. I'm like, I'm not as good as you might think I am. Or sometimes with certain games, I am that good. However, my fun, okay? My criteria for fun is the act of playing. Sometimes I might see an obvious win, but I might want to try something else to see if a different game mechanic works forever or works in some way, you know? Um and some folks are like, "Well, I can't have fun if the person isn't giving me their all." I'm like, "Okay. Thank you. You understand your criteria for fun. Now, did you communicate that to the other player, or do you just assume that the other player has the same criteria?" You know, that's a really big thing. All right? And when a lot of folks go into a game and they see a loophole because a bad experience came across where somebody used a loophole that they didn't know about, but once they see it, it's never going to happen again because I don't want to feel that way ever again. Okay. But is it known by everyone? Like, were you playing against a player that was win at all cost? Are you a player that wants to win at all cost? Is the opponent you're playing currently one that's about winning at all cost? You know, when you're at the role playing table, are you trying to be the main character and be the center of attention? Do you think that someone else at the table is doing so? I mean, is that how you believe the game is played? You know, that's the question. You know, a lot of people, especially because of the culture that we live in, all right, and I'm talking work culture, social media culture, the if I'm not the center of attention, I may as well not exist culture that we've cultivated, especially here in the United States, that can get in the way of a lot of things that make us happy. Okay? And with that being said, understanding our criteria for fun, asking ourselves the question, do people think like I do? And if we can see something, is the possibility, like the possibility that we're seeing, the number one thing that is going to happen? Is the possibility an absolute, or is it just a possibility? These are all things that we have to keep in mind and that I challenge every single person who plays games with other people to take a look at. Okay? I can say this, and this applies to every single piece of escapism that we do. All right? I love comic books. I really do. Just even saying I love comic books puts a genuine smile on my face. I love heroes. The Justice League and the Legion of Superheroes are my two favorite teams in comic books. And, you know, however, I don't buy every issue. I don't read every story arc. I'm not gonna lie. I started reading, um, God, what was it? Black Metal. I started reading Justice League Metal a few years ago. I loved it. I loved it until I realized that it was essentially a 2,000 page love letter to how Batman is the most awesome thing ever. and everything is the bat, and the bat is and has always been everything. And I'm like, yeah, no, I gotta jump off here for a little bit. Um, but I love the Justice League as a concept. I love the Grant Morrison run. I love the Keith Geffen run. I love the cartoons. I even love the Super Friends from the 1970s. Okay, I do. I love the Justice League. I even didn't hate the Zack Snyder cut. Not a big fan of the Joss Whedon theatrical version, but if you guys are longtime viewers of the channel, y'all know how I feel about Joss Whedon's work. So, with all that though, um, you know, I can say that I love comic books and I love the Justice League. However, if I'm not a big fan of the writer or the story arc at the time, it doesn't mean I don't like the Justice League. It just means I don't like this bunch of stories, you know? But y'all know that there are gatekeepers out there, and a lot of y'all are fighting against gatekeepers in the same way that I am. The people that tell you get good noob. The people that are out there saying if you want to, if you want to call yourself a gamer, you have to play these games at these levels for this many years, and until then, we're gonna haze you. No, that's not the whole thing. Okay. Um, the most important thing is to do the things that you find fun for the reasons that you enjoy them. Okay? And I promise you this, whatever reason that you like having fun, as long as it don't hurt anybody and cause a majority of feel bad moments, you're not alone. You're really not alone. You know, I can play games and have so much fun. Now I don't play a lot of Star Wars games because I'm a little Star Warsed out. Okay, I'm a little, a little bit Star Warsed out. And that universe has never really meant the world to me in the way that a lot of people do. But you know what? I like games, so I'll play Legion every once in a while. I'll play Shatterpoint when I can. I'm just not going to spend money and invest in those games. Okay. I love comic books. I've got Crisis Protocol and the DCU game from Night Models. Love it, love it, love it. And again, Hero Clicks doing the thing. Mm. But but the fact of the matter, guys, is having fun starts in here. It starts with the decision to have fun. Okay? I'm going to play this game because I want to have fun. And understanding what is fun for you. Now, there's a lot of people out there that can only have fun if they're going to win. And I'm not going to poo poo those guys. I'm not. I'm not going to poo poo them. I'm not going to play against them all the time, but I'm not going to poo poo them. That's how they have fun. Cool. Find other people that are willing to play with you and be like that. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. Okay? I even know people who have fun complaining and tearing down everything that's out there because the thing they want is impossible. And you know what? I'm not going to poo poo them either. I'm also not going to play with them all the time. Okay? And I know quite a few other people that just like playing games. And I'm not going to lie, I love awesome moments, I'm not like, when it comes to the Timmy, Johnny, Spike dynamic, yeah, I am mostly a Timmy and I lead toward Johnny. Although I was trained by Spikes, For those of you guys that don't know, Timmy likes the cool, like, look at the thing I just bought. I want to put it on the table. Oh my God, it's a big dragon. I want to play with the dragon. I don't care if I lose with the dragon. Just don't blow the dragon off the board before I have a chance to play with it, please. Okay? Johnny is, yes, you just activated my trap card, all according to plan. And Spike is, this is the most efficient way that the game is supposed to be played, and I love crunching the numbers and doing everything to a crack specialist team. We are the best of the best, and we do everything with precision. You know, but I like it when the games I play have stories. Okay. I love moments of tension. I do. This is why I don't have a lot of fun playing with spikes, because spikes don't really leave a lot of tension. You know, the only tension you get is maybe they forgot to do everything they need to do to get the bonuses, so that they only have to roll a 1 on a 20-sided die. I don't really have a lot of fun with that, and that's my personal thing. All right, but those moments of, okay, all I got to do is this. All right, I still, no, it's just a little dirty. It's still good. It's still good. Okay, it's just a little airborne. It's still good. Yeah, no, it's gone. You know, I love those moments. I love the clutch moments and the last second victory moments. Um, that's what I love doing stuff for. My third game of Warhammer 40K, I played with someone that was playing Grey Knights, and I had no idea about their teleportation because I don't read every team's codex and rule book, so that I'm prepared for everything they bring to the table. Okay, I don't. That's not the kind of player I am. When I was playing collectible card games, I didn't know every card in the game that I was playing. I like being surprised and seeing what I could do in that moment of surprise. That's just how I roll. Um, but not everyone plays that way. All right. But when I have those moments of tension and I'm going, dude, I hope you pull off this thing that you're pulling off. Wait, that thing links to that, links to that, links to that, and that's how you can shoot me. That is awesome. That's where I come from, and that's what I consider fun. But fun is literally, it starts here. It starts when I decide to have fun in playing in a game and finding the ways to have fun that don't step on the fun of my other opponent. Because when I get involved in things, and I honestly believe that we are alike in this, when we get involved in games, we really do want everyone to have a good time, unless we're using games for vengeance. And y'all know how we feel about that here Back in the Deck. That is not a cool thing to do, because revenge is exhausting and it don't always work. God knows it's very rarely satisfying. Okay? But that's where we're at. Like I said, tonight, guys, I'll be at the Roguelike Tavern if you guys want to come in and see me live. Yes, I'll be wearing an entire costume. Tonight, my colors are purple, brown, and black. And if y'all paint, don't ask me why I chose those colors, because I'll tell you, they're the fabric I had laying around when I made the costume. I'm a moderate fan of the Batman miniatures game, Neon Arlecchino. I'm a bigger fan of the superhero game because I like heroes more than I like street level. Okay. I.e. with Marvel, yeah, I'm about the Avengers and the X-Men more than I am about Daredevil and the Defenders, or Daredevil and Spider-Man and the Marvel Knights. Okay, I like high concept. High concept has always been my bag. So the Batman miniatures game is fun, but I don't really see myself. I don't really see myself playing the Bat family versus a Bat villain and a bunch of poor people who can't find work. I want to beat up the dude that's trying to destroy a planet. That's kind of where I am. Yeah, Batman. Well, no, Batman is not just vengeance. Batman is also the knight. Uh, I'm not the knight. I'm a Martian who misses his family. But yeah. So, like I said, guys, tonight, let me just pull up this thing one more time, if I can find my mouse here. I'll be at the Roguelike Tavern tonight. For Roguelike Rumbles. Pop in. Seriously, guys. Even if we haven't met, be like, hey, I'm this person in the chat on Twitch. And I'll be like, cool, get yourself a drink or something. You're killing me, Neon. Yeah, he is a complicated man who no one understands but his butler, Bruce Wayne. But But yeah. But yeah, so come on down. It's a cool place. It's a great venue. If I lived closer than 30 miles away from it, I would probably be there for karaoke night. But if y'all got any other questions or comments or anything, lobster that's right, lobster thermidor. That's my favorite. How did you know? um but yeah, if you guys have any other questions or comments or anything, just pull up your keyboard and type in back on the deck at gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK at gmail.com. You can also reach out on the social medias like Twitter and Instagram on those same places. And of course, TikTok and Clock app. You can hit me up at Bidbeing and the Facebook group Deckers on the Book. Alright? And again, if you guys don't live in the Southern California area or just don't have the gas to drive out the road, I get it. Just tune in to Roguelike Rumbles at twitch.tv slash Pick Your Poison Productions or Pick Your Poison Productions over on YouTube. Alright? We're going live at 8 o'clock. Of course, my call time is like 6:15 or something like that. But yeah, we're going live at 8 o'clock. We're doing the whole thing. And yeah, like tune in. It'll be a good time. It's only a 2-hour thing, so, you know, tune in. It's like watching movies or Netflixing and laughing at the cinematic sorcerer get his butt kicked, probably by a halfling monk. I'm not, that's the one that I don't quite trust. Alright, but with all that, guys, I'm Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, and if anybody tells you that you can't like what you like because of circumstances of your birth, your race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, your disabilities, or your budget, you can tell any of those people, take any of those cards, and put them back in the deck. I will see you guys Friday on the dark side of the room.